Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, October 12th, 2021. I am Salad Blue Sister, and this is my turn to talk. I hope everyone's enjoying their day. And let's get started. Okay, everyone. So today I want to talk about what is the point of religion? There are many types of religions. Do they serve a purpose? Exactly what is religion, and is religion necessary in our lives? Now, some people, you know, may say yes, and I know there are people who consider themselves atheists. They do not believe in God, but do they have another religion? Is there something else that you pray to? Now, we had a conversation or topic a couple of weeks ago about how important is religion in our lives. But now, what is the point of religion? And, does it benefit us? Some people say that we need religion to have some type of spiritual well being in our lives, to keep us calm, to keep us centered on a health note. Religion, believing in something, and having God in your life, whoever you may deem God to be, is to supposedly lower the blood pressure of older people. And it's also supposedly supposed to give you a um, healthier immune system. And for people who are suffering with cancer, is supposed to give you a longer survival rate. Now, is that because people who are religious pray and they're praying to, God to, please heal them, let them, live long enough to see um, a child or a relative or, whomever graduate from high school, college, get married? You know, does religion play a factor in our health? You know, are people who are religious, are they more satisfied with their life? Um, does religion reduce the stress in your life? Does it protect you against depression? Exactly what does religion do for you? Welcome, Juju. Welcome. So I would ask that, uh, Juju, I am going to do this. I don't know if it's a mistake, but you sent in an invite. But again, if you want to speak, you have the mic, my friend. So, does religion play a part not only in our physical health, but in our mental health? So, again, what is the point of religion? Some people use religion in a political way. Um, some people, if you're not of one religion and you're with another religion, to this day, there are certain religions that are persecuted, by other people. So, exactly what is the point of religion? And do you believe that um, people who pray or have religion in their lives who are sick, that they do actually live longer. Do you believe that cancer patients actually live longer because of religion in their lives? So again, a couple weeks ago, we talked about how important was religion, but now I'm asking, what is the point of it? And do you believe that, there is a God and God exists, and doesn't matter what type of religion, you are, or what type of God you pray to, as long as it's satisfying you and giving you some sense of satisfaction or peace? And I would like to say hello to OJ and to Crucible Man. Welcome, welcome. So I throw those questions out. Um, uh, does anybody, want to answer? OJ, you may want to try your mic today. I don't know if you were able to get that fixed. I'm not sure what was going on yesterday. But I really like to know. Hold on, there we go. I think I caught it fast enough. So OJ, if you want to come on. So does religion play a major part in society, where if you are of a godless society, then that society will be doomed, so to speak? Are people who don't, go to church every week, um, are they, less inclined to go to heaven, as opposed to the people that do? I mean, what do you guys think? And OJ, I'm gonna try this one more time for you. There we are, OJ.
Hey,
Hey, how are
how are you guys doing?
you? Good, good, good.
Okay, okay. This topic I was reading. I just read your topic during the day, and I was kind of excited about it. Just reading the name. See, for me personally, without any opinions raised against for anybody, I'm raised in a Christian family, as I mentioned earlier, and Christian in the sense like going to church on every Sunday, and then 52 the Sundays of the year, besides your Christmas, New Year's, Easter, Good Friday, and the stuff. So for me, from that kind of a background, I feel that religion does play an important role in one's life. For example, we have the freedom to choose to talk, whom to talk, when to talk, where to talk, and how to, as well as to how to react, or have our opinions about others. But then religion is something which plays in the background, and if we follow it, whichever religion it might be, if we follow it, we'll have our feet grounded to the earth. No religion in the world says to harm or kill human beings. No one. But then again, it's our way. Just because I don't like somebody, so I haven't had an argument, so next time I see that person, I kill that guy. No religion, I mean, across the board, if you check, nobody encourages or preaches this. It's us who human beings, who are decide and to do and do what we are doing. But it's and then and because we are doing what we are doing, the entire community gets a bad name.
Okay, you have brought up a couple of points, but I still would like to know, first of all, OJ or anyone else who wants to take this, do you believe that if do you believe that if you have religion in your lives, like I said, if you were sick with cancer or if you had a a life altering situation in your life, that having religion in your life could help you last longer?
Yeah, to a certain extent, we as again as Christians we believe in miracles. So yes, I, I believe that.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I
Does
mean,
anybody?
again, just this is a very sticky situation, sticky. This topic. So I'm just airing my views. I do not mean to offend or to make fun of anybody else here. I just
No,
want
no,
to get
I
that
no,
point clear.
I totally understand. These are your opinions and how you feel, and I don't think anyone is taking it offensive. So no, don't worry about that.
Thank you.
Crucible, you're welcome. Crucible Man, and I'm glad you have your mic back, OJ. Crucible Man, how are you today?
I am well. How are you?
I am good. So, what is going on? What are your thoughts?
I guess just to answer the basic question, what is the point of religion? I think you and OJ hit on a lot of the main points. I think you can probably use religion and faith almost interchangeably. And I think religion and faith help us make sense of things that don't make any sense, any earthly sense. I think religion gives us something to hold on to, something to ascribe things that attribute things that go on in the world that we can't make sense of and aren't supposed to be able to make sense of because we think in earthly terms. It's like trying to imagine what heaven is like. From what I've read in the Bible and just in my upbringing in Catholic school, we're not taught, we're not capable of understanding the concept of heaven beyond the abstract. It's just not how we're wired on earth. So I think religion, whether you're sick or whether you're going through any type of adversity, obviously it gives us peace and it gives us comfort, but it also.
I lost you there, Crucible
Yeah,
Man.
my phone rang and I had to hang up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it gives us comfort and peace, I think, about things that there is no earthly explanation for, and it gives us something to hang on to. Without that, I think we would all be, kind of adrift without anything to hang on to. And if your belief in God during a time of crisis or a time of illness buoys your spirits to the point where you believe by praying or believing in God that you will live longer or you will be cured. Whether that turns out to be true or not is kind of moot. The point is that at the time you believe it, and that is enough to get you through that point in time.
All right. So, Crucible Man, you brought up a good point about faith. But before I go into that, I wanted to just read what PY4T podcast said. Religion or organized religion, in my opinion, was created to control people easier. For example, if 100% of the world were true Christians, nobody would steal, murder, etc. And however, people are entitled to their beliefs. So if you believe in a creator, you have the right to practice that religion. I agree with you on both points, PY4T, 100%. However, in your first comment, if 100% of the world were true Christians, nobody would steal, murder, or still a murderer, whatever. That is true. However, don't forget, we are not perfect. So even if the world were 100% Christian, or believed in God or whatever, wouldn't we still fall short because we are not perfect? And SJ, hello, welcome back, my friend. And Crucible Man, when you said that faith and religion go hand in hand, I was thinking, is it possible not to be religious, but you can still have faith in something, that you can still, believe in something and have faith in something, but you're not a religious person? So, and see, Y4T says, yeah, that's why I said true, or maybe I should have said most. Okay. All right. So does anyone want to comment on what PY4T said, or what I just said, or what Crucible Man said?
Yeah, I think you can believe in anything that sounds plausible to you, but I think the whole point of being religious is it allows us to pray or worship to a higher power, somebody who has greater jurisdiction over our lives and our problems than we do. So if you're not going to believe in a higher power, then you're believing in earthly things, and earthly things are fallible. So you can believe in one of your friends, you can believe in a family member, you can believe in anything you want if you've convinced yourself that's worth believing in. But the whole point of religion is it transcends our earthly issues and allows us to, no pun intended, take our belief or our faith to another level. And I don't know that that's possible by believing in earthly things, because, as I said, earthly things are imperfect and they're flawed, and we want something better than that. So I think religion is what fits the bill for most people.
Okay. Now, the definition of religion is the belief in and worship of a superhuman controlling power, especially a personal god or gods. So, if you say, believing in a superhuman power, if you want to look at the dictionary term, or, if you want to say believe in something higher than us, then does that mean that you believe that there is a God? Because everyone doesn't believe that there's a God, but they believe in something. They do believe in a higher being, but it may not be in God, and I'm referring to, God of the Bible. So anybody want to take that one?
What else would you be believing in if you weren't believing in a deity or a higher power? I mean, I think that's why people pray, is because they've lost faith in their earthly presumptions, and their earthly presumptions have repeatedly let them down. So you ascribe your situation to, or you describe your situation to a higher power who has more control, more benevolence, more kindness, more compassion, all of those things that I think elude us as earthlings, because, as you said, we are imperfect and we are flawed. So I think the reason religion is so popular with so many people is it allows us to place our problems and place our worries or our illnesses in the hands of somebody who we trust implicitly, because we believe that deity or that higher power has our best interests in mind. And that can't always be said of earthlings.
Okay, you make a good point. So now I'm going to, well, first I want to read what SJ said. I think that God is really a projection of self and religion. And I'm sorry, let me start over. I think that God is really a projection of self, and religion is a collective like messenger of that projection of self. That's interesting, SJ. So I want to ask for both of these. I want to throw out there, Crucible Man said, then who would you be praying to? So what about atheists? What about atheists who don't believe in God? So don't you think that they have faith in something that possibly, I mean, I'm not an atheist, so I don't know, but you know, what about atheists? Do they not believe in anything? And before anyone answers that, I just want to read what SJ says again. I also think that our purpose here on earth is to experience life. But we had to make a deal with the ruler of earth, and that deal was to give up ourselves and our memories and our knowledge, and life is really us just recovering from amnesia. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Hello, DOS. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, SSJ, that we're that giving up our memories and recovering from amnesia. Does anyone want to tackle that one? Or SJ, do you want to come on and take the mic? And okay, hold on. Let me grab you real quick. There we go. And SJ, you should have the mic. There we go. You should have gotten that one. There we are.
Hello.
Hello, I'm glad you are back.
Thank you. How's everybody doing today?
I am good. I hope everyone else is doing well too.
Okay, so I think that we chose to be here. We wanted the experience of life. We wanted to experience um, uh, like the struggles, like if you will, and having a beating heart and a body and all the drama that comes along with it. But see, we had to, in order to be born into it, we had to kind of, I guess, relinquish some of our mind power, if you will, in order to truly experience life as we know it on Earth. And I think that this is that we have memories, but it's so suppressed for a reason. But I think a lot of us, really seek to know more and really question their existence. And I think that that is just, it comes naturally when somebody is suffering from amnesia. They're trying to remember, like they're trying to figure out what's going on here. So they got to figure out where everything started. And so the fact that people seek knowledge throughout their lives, for the most part, uh, is evident to me that, and in trying to find themselves too, is evident to me that we were someone before this. And there's something to be said about the afterlife of the life here on earth too. And I think that here is, let's just call it the devil's playground. And the name of the game is, can you get through with your soul intact? And I think the soul is very relevant or related to the mind. I think the mind is the true identity, the true self, and the true vessel.
Okay, so SJ, let me ask you this, because to me, you you're taking the conversation a little into reincarnation. Do you believe in reincarnation?
Uh, I don't think in like the Hindu sense. However, I do believe that there's a ruler of all different realms. But reincarnation, perhaps we could be reincarnated. Um, but I think that it's like, okay, we might want to go back after we die, right? After we die, we come to and we're like, oh shit, like, wow, that was amazing. I want to try that again. You know, um, that's as far as it goes with me with reincarnation, though. Or perhaps some people do get stuck in a cycle. One thing that I do fear, though, is that if you do something bad, you will be reincarnated as something bad for punishment. And I do believe that life here on Earth is actually purgatory, if you guys know what that means.
Okay, are you saying it's purgatory just because of everything that's happening on Earth in the negative sense?
Well, I think it's like it turns into purgatory, and when we do certain things that kind of break us down, and like, let's say we lose our minds, let's say we become senile or whatever, we'll never recover from that. And from what I contemplate on, but it's like a life is like a run through, like to test your character or to fortify your character. But I don't believe this is the only life. This isn't the only stage of consciousness.
All right. So now, I mean, because now I'm like totally fascinated. So, SJ, I have to ask you, do you believe that and I'm being completely serious, do you believe that you possibly had former lives?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Okay. All
I
right.
have a memory from when I was before I was born, and uh, I wasn't, a true like fully being yet. I wasn't truly developed yet, or all the way developed. But I remember being approached by entities. Not that I could see them or anything; it was dark. But I just have the memory of being approached by entities. I could sense them, and there was two of them, and they said, basically, they're like, "Okay, it's time to choose." I'm like, "Okay." I was like, girl, because I knew that what they wanted me to choose was my gender, what I wanted to be. And I don't
Okay.
know, I've always had this memory.
Okay. All right. That's very, very interesting. I have a couple of comments to make on that, but first I'm going to ask anyone else. Does anyone want to comment on what SJ said? Does anybody want to come on and grab the mic and comment? Crucible Man, you usually have something to say. Do you have anything you'd like to add or no?
Yeah, I do agree with the notion that Earth is a form of purgatory, and the way I interpret it is kind of what you had said. Um, it's because of all the bad things that happen to us here, and is it preparing us, for the afterlife by putting us through all these trials and tribulations here on Earth? But not to get too deep into the reincarnation conversation, because I don't particularly know what my thoughts on reincarnation are. I guess my gut feeling would say probably not. But if we say reincarnation, are we talking about coming back as a butterfly or coming back as some other organism that doesn't reflect what we were in the previous life? In which case, have we really been incarnated if we're a butterfly? So I guess that's kind of my thought on that. And you made a comment earlier about atheists. What do atheists believe? I don't know any atheists. I've never known any atheists. I've never had a conversation with one, to my knowledge, about religion. But I think their thought is people who believe in religion are fools, and you're being played for a fool by believing in something that can't possibly be true. And they don't think in terms of the afterlife. They just think in terms of, this is it here on earth, take it or leave it, for better or for worse. And at the end, it's just darkness. Deal with it. If you want to get caught up in a higher power and wish on all this fantasy stuff, you can do that. But for my money, and I'm talking like an atheist now, that's a fool's errand. There's no such thing as an afterlife, and there's no such thing as heaven. So I don't think they believe in anything, of a higher power. I think they're content to let the chips fall where they may here on earth, and for better or for worse, when it's over, it's over.
Okay, so you also make a good point. So let me read what PY4T says. I think that's pretty much the same theory, to whereas the goal of life is to ascend to a heaven type place, or complete this endless cycle by finding and knowing the truth. Okay, so atheists basically, they don't believe, like our Crucible Man says, in an existence of God or gods. And Tron Cat just said reincarnation is when you become, are you saying a soldier or God? When you become a soldier, I'm sorry, when you become a soldier of God. Okay, so, but in terms of reincarnation, I do believe that it's possible. I do believe it's possible. I do believe that you can come back as another human being. I believe you can come back as a butterfly or a goat or an elephant, whatever. I do believe that that is possible. But in terms of atheists, they have to, well, I'm not saying they have to, but to me they do believe in something. Think back to the 70s where you had Jim Jones, and would you say that people were praying to him because they all drank the Kool-Aid? A lot of people died. I think it was over like 900 people, whatever. Do you think that people who follow a Jim Jones type person, that they may not believe in God, in the Bible, higher being, but they're praying to a person? And there are a lot of people around the world who pray to people. So am I making sense? So a lesser object, not a human again. Okay, that's what Troncat says. So does anybody want to make a comment, or no, or yes?
I think the Hindus have like a really good point when it comes to the levels of reincarnation. So I don't know if you're familiar with the Hindu religion, or if you're familiar with moksha. If anybody's
No, I'm not.
that. Okay, so there's like the peasant and the merchant, and then the, oh gosh, I can't think of the word for it, but ultimately your last cycle on in reincarnation is moksha, or a spiritual leader. And a spiritual leader, I believe, is somebody who he comes to know the truth, and becomes wise, and is an old soul, and is finally ready to let go of this realm and transcend on from it. Yeah. And I think that atheists are actually some of the truest, most, or they have the most faith out of all other like religious people, because they're basically just leaving it up to whatever is going to happen is going to happen. And that's like true faith, if you ask me. And there's something to be said about that, but I also think there's a naivety to it, as well as some other hardcore religions as well.
Okay, so my question is, Crucible Man says, how do you pray to another human? I mean, people do pray to human beings. I mean, praying to a human just the way you would pray, pray to God. But would you consider atheism a type of religion then? And before someone answers that, I just want to read what Tuttle says. I don't believe in reincarnation. How could the population swell to almost 8 billion people if we were just recycling souls? You have a very good point. And Tuttle Razor, I'm assuming you are Tuttles. So that's a very good point. Does anyone want to take that one? I mean, he makes a very good point.
So imagine us as people, everybody living on Earth. We have a little piece of consciousness from a collective whole consciousness that, let's just imagine it looming in the metaphysical air, right? And after we die, we are re-injected into that collective consciousness as a fortified piece of consciousness, therefore fortifying the whole, which would explain certain levels of evolution, like mind, reflex, uh, fight or flight, and structure.
Okay, but what about what Tuttles specifically said when he said that how can we have a population of almost 8 billion people?
Well, because the collective consciousness isn't numbered. It's like it's infinite. And I don't believe that everybody on Earth who is alive has very much of this consciousness in them. I think that there's another parallel metaphysical realm that is, I guess you could call it like the dark side, or something else that is developing, has been developing, trying to mimic or simulate the celestial collective consciousness, and it is intercepting bodies, I guess you will, if you will, like of life on Earth. If that makes any sense.
Okay.
That would explain the narcissists.
All right. So, okay, Juju, your mic is not on, so you are fine. So I have a question for SJ. Are you a theology major, or did you study theology at all?
Unorthodox.
Okay.
So I didn't really study it in school, but it's stuff that I do on my own free time.
Okay. Okay. All right. You know, all of you have brought up some really, good points. So, do you believe that people who go to church every Sunday, or they go to Bible study, or whatever, do you think the faithful who go to church every single Sunday, I mean, they're there, all the time, and as an African American, I can tell you about the people who come to church every Sunday. Um, I don't go to church every Sunday. I go to church twice a month, mainly because of how far my church is from where I live. But I do enjoy going to church. I enjoy hearing the words, so to speak. Um, do you believe that people who go to church um, are, I guess I want to say, have one up on the people who don't? If that makes sense. Okay, and Tuttle says no. Okay. Do you think it's necessary to have some type of contact, or have some type of relationship with a church, no matter what your religion is? And again, and when I say church, I don't necessarily mean a church with with a steeple, whatever. A church can be a storefront, whatever. Do you think that that's necessary? Okay, and everyone's saying no, not in their opinion. Um, okay, SJ, did you want to say something?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Sure.
So I think, or I know that the majority of the population are a certain personality type. And I think that our personality types are either chosen or assigned to us. But the reason why we're different personality types, meaning we have different cognitive functions, different modes of operation, is to work as a system, as a community. Um, these people who go to church all the time may have one up in a sense that they are sociable, which is good for their survival. However, there are a percentage of the population that are introverted and do not thrive in those social settings. However, I think that having a connection of some sort, whether it be religion or recreation, community, whatever, is definitely beneficial to everybody, especially those introverts who don't want to be at church every Sunday.
Okay, and PY4T says no, not at all. In fact, I go as far as to say some of these people are worse off when it comes to tithing. I've heard a lot of stories and also witnessed it myself where pastors are only in it for money and selfish reasons. PY4T, I agree with that 100%. We see all these mega churches and, these, pastors, reverends, priests, whatever you want to call them, flying around in jets, and they have these mansions and what have you, where people in their congregation are, are struggling. Yes, I do agree with that 100%. percent. And I personally do not believe in tithing. I will, give an offering or donation, but it's not something where I'm doing it because I'm supposed to tithe. But hold on, Tuttles wants to come on. So there you go, Tuttles. So, I don't know. So it comes back to my point is religion necessary? Does it serve a purpose? And Tuttles, whenever you want to come on, you can come on. Let me try to do this
And
again. There you go.
No,
Okay.
sorry about that. I was just texting my next message and I got fat fingers sometimes, so I accidentally hit the call button.
Okay. Do you want to say anything since you're on, or you want to drop off?
I think everybody's spirituality should be within them. If they feel like they should go to church, then that's their trip. It's just not my personal trip. I don't need to go to a place where they ask me for money every Sunday to know my relationship with God. So that's just my opinion on it.
Okay. All right. And thank you very much, Tuttles.
Sorry for the fat fingers.
That's okay. That's okay. All right. SJ, you wanted to say something.
yeah, I think like with anything, moderation is key. And I think that the Buddhists have it right when they say aim for the middle. Um, when you have a bunch of people in one spot all paying attention, that's and whoever's whoever they're paying attention to like has some kind of power, and it could either be used for good or evil. And I think that that's just something that people need to come to realize for themselves, is if what they're looking at is good or evil. But I do think that when churchgoers get together and they're all believing in the same thing, and they're pushing each other to believe in the same thing, kind of pushing everybody through a bottleneck of beliefs. I think that could be detrimental. I think that could be harmful to people in general. But I mean, it's good to have a sense of community. However, I think that people just need to be mindful that when you have a lot of minds paying attention to one thing, it could be used for evil.
Okay. Well, let me ask this. What about that term or that statement when people say, quote unquote, relationship with God? Do you have a relationship with God? What do you think that means? Am I, if I don't have a particular quote unquote relationship with God, that I'm going to go to hell, or that, when I die, I'm going to go somewhere, really, really bad. I mean, exactly what does that mean? A relationship with God.
I
Anybody
really
want
think that it's your understanding and your own system of beliefs and your connection with your inner self. And I think that a lot of people like to add something to it because it helps them worship collectively, if that makes any sense. So everybody has a personal relationship or understanding of what they believe the concept of God is. But I think a lot of people kind of allow external influences to shape their reality or system of beliefs on that matter.
Yeah, okay, and I do definitely agree with that last part. Does anybody else want to jump in and comment? Crucible
Yeah,
Man or OJ, or go ahead,
yeah,
Crucible Man.
yeah. I think when you say relationship with God, it's a little bit misleading because we, again, as earthlings, we view everything through the earthly lens. It's all we have. It's all we know. Um, but I lost my train of thought. God. Yeah, a relationship implies kind of a two-way dialogue, right? Any relationship we have, whether it's with coworkers, with friends, a spouse, a girlfriend, boyfriend, it implies a two-way dialogue where we're saying something and we're hearing something back. That's what makes it a relationship. for the most part, we don't hear anything back from God unless you're the type of person who interprets certain events or certain goings on. You attribute them to God. Something good happens, and that was God. Something not so good happens, and you say, "Well, that was God too. He was disapproving of my behavior." But I think in this particular case, since God is not capable of conversing with us in the traditional sense, all relationship with God means is that I speak to him frequently. I trust him implicitly. I love him. He is my God, and that's the relationship. I think what it means is that you speak with God and you pray on a regular basis, whether that means you're in church or whether that means you're at home or in your car. I think that just means you're open to Christ, you're open to God, and you're willing to put your trust in him or her, because that's there really is no other alternative. But I think when people say they have a relationship with God, it means they're comfortable with the concept and they're comfortable praying to him and trusting him with their lives.
Okay, so a couple of things there. First, let me say what PY4T says, and if PY4T, if you want to come on and grab the mic, you're more than welcome. I believe in a creator, not any of these organized religions that control the masses. Okay, so Crystal Man, you said that God is incapable of talking to us. I'm assuming you're saying like you sit down at the kitchen table and we're like conversing, like the two of us could or whatever. But don't you think that he does communicate to you in certain ways? Because I do believe that when something happens in my life a certain way, I am one of those people who says, that's God telling me that I'm not living right, or that's God, answering my prayer for something. But let me throw this out there. Do you think it's possible for someone to, do you all, I guess, and this may sound silly, but do you believe in spirits? Do you believe that people who have passed on are watching over you, or they're in your life some way that they're capable of speaking to you? Because I'm one of those people who I do believe that. I do believe that people who have, gone on before us come back, and in some way, somehow, they are speaking to you. So anybody want to take that? Is that like, I mean, I don't know. SJ?
I think that we develop attachments to this physical realm, and like the stronger the attachment, the longer we linger in limbo between death and earth and transcendence or reincarnation or whatever happens, or whatever our path is at that time. Um, that's why truly being able to let go of your ego, your life on earth, and all the things you're leaving behind is definitely key to moksha, or true transcendence from this realm. Moving on.
Okay, so I understand what you're saying, but still my question is, do you believe that someone who has like your best friend from school or whatever, that they can come and talk to you, or say something to you, even if it's a thought that just pops into your head? Is it, do you believe that that's because that person came and they were talking to you? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've experienced it. When my brother passed, he actually visited me a couple times. Like, so one time I was having sleep paralysis, and something entered my room, was standing next to my bed. I believe that that was him because it was like right after he died. And then the other time, I was just lying in bed looking at my phone, and all of a sudden, my mind was just like full of memories of him, like he was just there in my mind. I could feel his presence, and I was like, Shane, get the fuck out of my room. Sorry, excuse the language, but and the same with my grandparents. Like I felt them just invade my, I guess, my mind and my space for a moment. And then right after my brother died, actually, I was conversating with him through a nightlight that was flickering, and I told him to flicker twice for yes, once for no, and we were talking about certain things. And I mean, I just can't deny what happened. Let alone, when I was younger, being haunted by spirits in my mother's husband's house, which then led to me ending up in the mental hospital for a month. But that's probably a whole another topic.
Okay. Okay, let me read what OJ says. I don't think so. I think that's our overthinking of the person who has gone. I'm going to disagree with you, OJ, because I truly believe, because things have happened to me, and I'm going to say that there are people who have gone before me who have been gone for years and years and years, people who I've never met, who are part of my life, if that makes sense. A grandmother in particular that I never knew. Um, I believe that she talks to me, and as silly as that sounds, you know, I know that people tend to miss people when they're immediately gone. If you lose a parent or something, they may be in your head, whatever. But I'm talking about, people who have been gone for years, you know, and things happen, or thoughts come into your head, or you see certain things, and it's like they're almost guiding you. I do believe that that's possible. So I don't know. So anyone else want to make a comment? Crucible Man, or OJ, or anyone else?
Yeah, I think OJ said he doesn't believe, and I'm kind of on the fence. I tend to lean toward yes about being visited by spirits. Um, but really, at the end of the day, as long as it's your belief and it's based on something reasonably plausible to you, it doesn't have to be plausible to anybody else because it's your belief. And if you believe, like SJ does, that her brother passed and he visited her in her room a couple of times, if she felt his presence or thought she felt his presence, then she felt his presence. We'll never know one way or the other. But if it gives that person comfort at that particular time, and it calms their soul a little bit, then what's the harm in that? It's a belief that is giving you comfort. And if somebody chooses not to believe that spirits are capable of visiting, then what's the harm in that? We're all trying to get through whatever we're trying to get through, and if belief in a particular idea is enough to sustain us during that time, then I think it's a good belief.
May I
You make a good point. Okay, and SJ, what do you want to say?
just, for the record, it's not comforting to me at all. In fact, I'm terrified at the notion that my grandparents saw me in certain lights, lingering around, and that my brother
Oh,
visiting me, which me and my brother, we didn't have a relationship for 24 years before his death. I never felt his presence like that ever, ever. And then after his death, I did. But honestly, it was very unsettling. I would, if I could choose to believe that is not happening to make it not happen, I would choose that.
Okay, so SJ, I'm going to ask. You said that you didn't have a relationship with your brother when he was living. So, do you think it's a possibility that you felt his presence because possibly, and I'm just throwing this out here, I don't know, possibly that he was, making his presence known just to say, you know, I wish we could have had a better relationship, or I wish we, could have, talked more,
Yes.
or whatever.
Yes, and I think he was curious, just like with my grandmother, who I actually could see her silhouette walking into my room. I think they were curious. They wanted to check in on me, and I told them to get out because, I mean, what can you do? It's like I didn't have very good relationships with them. And what are you doing in my room? I don't care if you're alive or dead. Like, get out of my room. Like, but yeah.
Okay. All right. And PY Forte says, I was always of the understanding that if you were a believer of God, you believe when people die, they go to heaven or hell, and that any spirits are demonic entities who trick us into believing they are our loved ones. Um, I've never, I've never thought that. I do believe that there are such things as evil spirits, but I also believe that there are also good spirits. I also believe that there are, that people you love, that if they are capable of being a spirit or whatever you want to call them. Um, I think there are good spirits, and I believe that there are bad spirits. I do believe that there are demonic people or spirits who may want to trick us into believing that they are our loved ones. But, you know, um, those are the ones who I say, if they were like that when they were alive on earth, then those are the ones that you don't believe, So I don't know. This conversation has gone several different ways and very interesting to me. I've enjoyed this show. Um, you guys have brought up a lot of good points and things that I'm actually going to think about. And that's just me personally, but again, I like talking about things that other people don't necessarily like to talk about, or they feel that, people may think that they're crazy, whatever. But, I always want to give people the mic and let them, say whatever. Unless you're, being rude or something, I'll never, cut you off. Um, unless there's a lot of people who want to talk, but I won't be rude about it. But, but seriously, I want to know, me doing this show, I am truly interested in knowing what other people think, because, like Tuttle says, there's 8 billion people on this earth, and everyone has 8 billion different thoughts and reasons for doing and saying, the things that they do. And I'm just interested to know what people think. So on that note, I want to ask: does anyone else have anything that they want to add, or they want to say, or they want to grab the mic, or anybody? OJ, you've been kind of quiet there. I know you said something at the beginning, but I do want to ask you this: you said you grew up Christian, and you're Indian. Did that conflict with because Indians are mostly Hindu? Am I correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
You're
I
right.
think there you go. So
Hello.
being a Christian, was that a problem with you growing up in India?
Not really for me, but then I am the third generation, so it was my grandparents who all had to face the wrath. So yeah, but but again, on today's date, we are not allowed to kind of convert to any other religion from I mean from Hinduism to any other religion. This conversion is totally banned. And but then if a Muslim wants to become a Christian, or a Christian wants to become a Muslim, or whichever way it is cool. It's okay. But then the Hindus are not allowed to to get converted. So
Very
right now it's kind of tough.
okay. So when you're saying not allow, are you saying the government does not allow you to convert, or
Yes,
okay, okay? I
yes.
just want to be
So
clear on that.
yeah, because even like suppose I'm an adult now. If I want to convert, I have to get a bond paper from the court, and on that I need to which is kind of legalize. I mean, trying to be legal, that I am converting for my personal reasons. No one else is responsible for this. And then after I get it, I have this thing typed on a government stamp paper. I need to get get the same signed by a legal guy, a lawyer.
Wow,
And it's not my lawyer, a different I mean court lawyer. And then he would take it to the district magistrate, and the district magistrate is going to question me, as in when he gets time, or feels like it. And then and so it's a long drawn this process.
wow, wow. That's all I can say is wow. I mean,
Yeah,
that is definitely a process. So, does anyone else
yeah.
have any? I'm sorry, OJ. Did you want to say something else, or
No, no, no. So yeah, that's it. I mean, so right now since I'm the third generation Christian, so for me, it's okay. But then again, some issues are there. Hidden issues are there. Like if I mention my Christian name, so they'll ask me, if I'm applying for a government job, as to like how much money did you take to get converted. And those things are pretty humiliating. And we have a particular term. This people, I mean, not this people, we Indians, we say the rice bag Indians. So
okay,
rice bag Indians means during the European time, when the missionaries had come to India. There's a saying that they would kind of give a sack of rice to somebody, if he or she is willing to get converted. So I do not know how far that's true, but it is. So for me, if I'm applying for a government job, they'll say, how many bags of rice did your forefathers get,
that's
and
very
the rest of the stuff.
okay. All right, very very interesting and very complicated. So,
Hmm.
again, you guys, this has been a really good show, and I thank you guys so much. Tomorrow, I am going to talk about is it selfish to live for yourself before your family? And whoever comes on the show, I'd be interested to know what you guys think about that. Should you put yourself first before your family? So, but anyway, guys, thank you so much to everyone who contributed. SJ, Crucible Man, OJ, PY14, Tunnels, Juju, you guys, thank you, so much. Tron Cat and Doss, they were on earlier, but thank you so much. SJ, did you want to say something?
I wanted to say thank you for having me on. It was a pleasure. And to not take life too seriously, because I think that we're just here visiting. So soak it up and don't be afraid of the next level.
Yeah, you are right. Don't take life too seriously. And SJ, I know you've listened, to the show before. I'm glad, you came on this time and you took the mic. So, thank you so much. So on that note, I am going to say goodbye. Always speak your truth. I am Solid Blue Sister. This is my turn to talk. Thank you guys so much. You guys don't know how much I appreciate you guys so much. I love the participation. I really, really do. So on that note, thank you. And you guys have a good afternoon. Bye. You're welcome. I appreciate you guys being on my platform. Am I a platform? Wow, I sound kind of important. Gotta get my followers up, but I don't know. People like to hear more stuff in conflict than actually having a discussion or a conversation. So, thank you, Juju. I'm sure you're enjoying yourself at the pool. And Crucible Man, as always, thank you for your input. And Tunnels, even though you were fat fingered today, I enjoyed hearing your voice. So thank you. Thank you so much. But Crucible Man and OJ, they always have something to say. Always. And SJ, I don't know. Depending upon how often you come onto the show, it sounds like you'll always have something to say. And you guys can always have the mic. Okay, Tunnels wants to say something. What do you want to say? Or are you being fat fingered again?
I just want to say thank you and thanks for the patience for the fat fingers.
No problem, Tunnels. No problem. I enjoy you when you're able to make it. So not a problem.
Yeah. Like I said before, you're always on when I'm cooking dinner.
Well, it's only 1 o'clock. Well, now it's just 2 o'clock. So I'm in California. So I'm assuming you're on the East Coast?
Yeah, it's 5 p.m. here in Canada.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you're in Canada. Okay. I thought you were New York. Okay. You're Canada. All right. Yep. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. And everyone else, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Bye.